I shouldn't be saying this out loud. But loose ends, they don't just disappear. They get rewritten. I've seen it happen. Division 13 calls this a containment failure. And technically, that's not wrong. See, baseline perception depends on one thing: a stable, shared version of reality. History, facts, memory, all lining up. You disrupt that, reality fractures. I didn't know about Janus at first. You're not supposed to. It's buried deeper than Black Ops. The kind of file they don't just hide. They scrub it from existence. Project Janus was supposed to be the fix. Perceptual resonance arrays. Technology designed to stabilize consensus reality. To make sure history lines up with the version Division 13 wants you to remember. It wasn't meant to be dangerous, just routine cleanup. A witness sees the wrong thing, erase the memory. A photograph leaks, rewrite the headline. A piece of off-world text surfaces in the wrong place, bury the evidence. An entire mission goes sideways, make it disappear. Whatever threatened baseline reality, they edited it out. But every time they edited reality, it left something behind. Fragments, residuals, little cracks in the story. The tech, perceptual resonance arrays, devices built to target shared neural patterns, the ones humans rely on to piece together memory, reality, history. The arrays broadcast resonance fields, low frequency, buried under your conscious perception, that interact with cultural memory anchors, symbols, language, landmarks, even geography. The process is simple. First, they identify the threat: an alien encounter, a leaked operation, tech surfacing where it shouldn't. Next, they deploy the field: public hubs, media infrastructure, satellite grids. The arrays pulse out the correction, tiny shifts, barely noticeable. And then, consensus realignment. Most people never question it. Minds adjust. Names, dates, faces, they shift. Reality snaps to the edited version. The illusion? That's the dangerous part. You believe it's always been that way. At first, no one noticed. That was expected. Memory's unreliable, right? Easy to dismiss. But the cracks widen. And now, reality is falling apart, faster than they can glue it back together. The official reports? They call it minor data inconsistencies, statistical noise, a glitch in record keeping. That's what they want you to believe. I've seen the raw files, the redacted mission logs, timeline versions, stacked on top of each other, contradicting themselves, locations shifting, personnel records erasing and rewriting in real time. And buried beneath it all, silence. Division 13. They don't explain. They don't correct it. They move on, pretend nothing happened. But it's happening. More often. Bigger fractures. They can spin the story for now. But stories aren't reality. And reality has a way of bleeding through. No matter how hard they try to scrub it out. They buried the reports, but I found them. First, Case 11-9 Delta, Northern Sector. Entire street grid shifted overnight. The intersections flipped like someone shuffled the city like a puzzle. Building numbers rearranged. Homes, businesses, nothing where it should have been. Landmarks, wrong. Statues in the wrong place. Street names honoring people that never existed. Even the skyline looked different, off by just enough to feel it, like the whole city had been peeled back and reassembled, but sloppy. The locals woke up confused, but most of them, they brushed it off, swore it had always been that way. But not everyone adjusted. Half the town remembered the old layout, clear as day. Arguments broke out. People swearing the coffee shop was supposed to be on the corner, not the other side of the block. Streets named after people who never existed. Archived maps disagreed. So did the utility records, old blueprints, everything inconsistent. It escalated fast. People panicked, arguing in the streets, storming city offices, digging up old photos, pulling archived news reports. A few started documenting the discrepancies. Videos comparing the before and after. Hand-drawn maps pinned to walls. Live streams showing buildings where they shouldn't be. Some of them disappeared. Then, the arrays pulsed again. Next morning, everyone remembered the new layout. No arguments, no inconsistencies. Except the original maps. I kept copies. The digital trails, still fractured. Proof they rewrote the ground beneath their feet. Literally. Second, Case 42C, internal. One of our own, Agent Keller, erased from the system. Her file, gone. Birth records, clearance logs, mission history, scrubbed like she never existed. But she did. I remember the ops we ran together. I remember her voice. I remember her watching my back on Delta 14. Operation Delta 14, classified asset recovery, off-world. According to Division 13, that mission never happened. They reassigned everything. The briefings, the assignments, even her quarters. The rest of the team? Most of them adjusted. The arrays made sure of that. But not me. The gaps don't close for everyone, and the cracks, they cut deeper than memory. Her family went where civilians always go when reality cracks. Police stations, media offices, government archives, the places that give them the illusion of answers. Eyes wide, like they've been unraveling for hours. They said her messages stopped, her face gone from every photo, her name missing from the records. Division 13 doesn't operate at street level. They work through front agencies, shell offices, clean-looking bureaucrats with blank eyes and rewired memories. Her family filed reports, begged for help, probably sat across from one of ours and never even realized. They begged for answers. 48 hours later, they weren't begging, they weren't grieving, they weren't remembering. Division 13 made sure of that. They walked in with questions, walked out convinced she never existed. That's what the arrays do. They don't just rewrite files. They unwrite people. Third case, civilian broadcast. Live news segment. Routine coverage, nothing special. But then, something slipped through. Unauthorized symbols, glyphs, definitely not from this planet, embedded in the feed. Subtle at first, hidden in graphics, background visuals, but they were there. The broadcast ran for 8 minutes before they noticed. The news anchors didn't flinch. It was like their brains filtered it out. But viewers caught it. The symbols were identical to the ones I've seen deep in Division 13's off-world archives. Tirsa 7. They called it the dead sector. Whole civilization, gone, wiped itself out, rewriting history, fracturing memory, until they forgot how to survive. Division 13 recovered the remains, pieces of their tech, the ruins, buried in black site containment ever since. They said it was locked down. They said it couldn't happen here. But those glyphs, they shouldn't have been on a civilian broadcast, not unless containment failed. 20 minutes later, the video was scrubbed, replaced, edited, made to look like it never happened. But the viewers, the ones who noticed, they weren't quiet about it. Forums flooded with screenshots, timestamp analyses, frame-by-frame comparisons. People argued, some swearing they saw the glyphs, clear as day, etched into the broadcast feed. Others claiming it was a hoax, edited footage, mass hysteria. But the ones who knew, the ones who remembered, they were loud, they were certain, for about an hour. Then the arrays pulsed, and those same viewers were convinced they'd imagined it. Some of them denied seeing anything at all. The rest? They don't speak up anymore. 3 examples. There are more. Thousands of them documented, buried, denied. The symptoms? You already know them. They call it the Mandela effect. For those of you somehow not familiar, it's when you remember the world one way, but the evidence says you're wrong. Movie lines that never existed, logos that change, landmarks that shift. You feel crazy, but you're not. The jokes, the internet memes, the misquoted movie lines, the logos, the geography, all of it. They want you to laugh it off. Think it's just bad memory. It's not. It's residue. Proof of the edits. Proof that reality, your reality, isn't as stable as they want you to believe. It will get worse. See, the cracks don't just widen, they multiply. And when enough fractures stack, the edits stop working. Consensus collapses, and when that happens, you won't have to wonder what's real anymore. You won't remember. I've already said too much. But there's more to come.